She said it so softly I almost thought I imagined it. Don't act like you didn't notice me. And just like that, the air in the room changed. Her voice wasn't teasing. It wasn't even loud enough to break the music from the next room. But it landed somewhere deep in me, where words don't usually reach, that place between curiosity and confession. It started a few weeks earlier, at her sister's apartment. She opened the door before I could knock a second time. Not a grand entrance, just a woman standing in an oversized shirt, sleeves rolled to her elbows, a loose strand of hair sticking to her cheek. 40-something, maybe mid-40s, though she carried it like it was a secret, not a number. "Hey," she said, smiling with her eyes first. "You're early." Yeah. Traffic wasn't bad," I said, immediately aware of how young my voice sounded in her doorway. She stepped aside to let me in, brushing past me. That small, careless contact that feels accidental but never really is. Her perfume was faint, something like citrus and rain. I didn't mean to breathe it in twice. Her name was Lena, my girlfriend's older sister. That evening stretched longer than it should have. My girlfriend was late, stuck at work, and it ended up just being Lena and me at the kitchen counter, pretending the silence wasn't strange. She poured coffee even though it was 8 p.m., stirring it too long before handing it to me. "You don't mind it black, do you?" "No," I said. "That's perfect." She smiled again, but not at me, at the mug. "You remind me of someone I used to know." Same way of saying that's perfect even when it's not. She said it casually, but something flickered behind her words, like an old photograph she hadn't looked at in years. I wanted to ask who, but I didn't. I just watched her fingers trace the rim of her cup, slow and absent. Her nails were short, clean. No ring. I shouldn't have noticed that. We talked about safe things after that, movies, books, bad weather. Still, something unspoken threaded through every pause. When she laughed, she leaned in slightly, and her knee brushed mine under the counter. She didn't pull back right away. Neither did I. The air had that quiet tension, like the few seconds before rain. She caught me looking once. Instead of turning away, she tilted her head, almost amused. "You really look at people when they talk, don't you?" "I guess I do." "That's rare," she said. Then softer, and dangerous. I didn't know what to say, so I said nothing. The clock ticked, the refrigerator hummed, and her gaze stayed on me longer than polite conversation allows. By the time my girlfriend finally arrived, the coffee was cold. Lena stood up quickly, like she'd been caught somewhere she shouldn't have been. I helped her carry the cups to the sink, our fingers brushing once, a static jolt that felt too deliberate for an accident. "Thanks," she murmured, almost under her breath. "You noticed too much." Later that night, when we were leaving, she walked us to the door. My girlfriend was ahead of me, looking for her keys. Lena leaned close enough that her voice barely made it past her lips. "Next time," she said, "I's not leaving mine. Don't act like you didn't notice me." And then a sound. The rattle of keys. My girlfriend turning around. The moment snapped shut like a door slamming in a quiet house. But her words stayed, still warm, still dangerous, in the space between my heartbeat and hers. It had been 2 weeks since that night. 2 weeks since her voice had slipped under my skin like a secret I wasn't supposed to keep. I told myself I wouldn't go back. But my girlfriend forgot her charger at Lena's place, and somehow I was the one sent to pick it up. She opened the door again, the same way as before, soft, deliberate, like she already knew it was me. "Oh," she said, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "You. Just grabbing something for." "I know," she interrupted, smiling. "Come in." The apartment looked different in daylight, less forgiving, more honest. A half-finished jigsaw puzzle spread across the table. An open book face down on the couch. A cup with lipstick on the rim beside a cold pot of tea. It looked lived in, but lonely. She caught me looking. "I don't clean up much anymore," she said, with a shrug that didn't quite hide something heavier. "You don't have to," I said. "It looks like someone's here." Her eyes flicked up at that. That's not the same as not being alone. The silence that followed wasn't awkward. Just real. She handed me the charger, but our fingers brushed. Again. That same pulse, quick, traitorous. I saw it in her eyes too, that second of hesitation before she looked away. "You're quiet today," she said, turning toward the kitchen. "Coffee?" "Sure." "Still black?" "Still perfect," I said, before I could stop myself. Her laugh was softer this time. "You really don't learn, do you?" "I'm trying not to make things weird," I said, and instantly regretted it. She paused at the counter. Too late for that. When she came back, She sat across from me but leaned in slightly, her hand resting on the table near mine. Not touching, just close enough to make me aware of the space between us. "You're how old again?" she asked suddenly. 26. She nodded slowly. "My daughter's 23. That landed harder than she probably meant it to. She saw the look on my face and softened her tone. "Don't worry. I'm not comparing. Just reminding myself." "Of what?" "That I'm supposed to know better." Her thumb brushed the side of her cup, a nervous, circular motion. I wanted to reach out, still it, hold it. But I didn't. Instead, I said, "Do you?" That made her look up, directly, searching. "Some days," she said. "Other days I just pretend." The clock ticked again. Always the clock in her apartment. Always filling the silence when words failed. She shifted, leaning forward to grab something behind me, a napkin maybe, and her hand landed briefly on my shoulder. Just a second. Just enough to feel the warmth of her palm through the fabric. She didn't pull back right away. Neither did I. When she finally did, she exhaled, barely audible. "You should go," she whispered. "Yeah," I said. But I didn't move. Her eyes met mine. Whatever she wanted to say next stayed trapped behind her lips. The moment stretched too long, too close, until the air between us felt like a held breath. Then, softly, almost like she didn't mean to say it out loud, "You noticed too much." And this time, she smiled when she said it. I told myself it was just coincidence, running into her again at her sister's place. But coincidences don't look at you like that. My girlfriend was in the next room, on a video call. I was supposed to be helping Lena unpack a few grocery bags. Easy. Safe. Nothing charged about it. Except she kept standing too close. Her arm brushed mine when she reached for a glass. Her hair caught on the edge of my sleeve. Every tiny contact felt louder than her sister's laughter echoing down the hall. "Can you hand me that?" she asked, without looking at me. I passed her the knife handle first. Our fingers met. A pause. Too long. Her breath caught, a sound so small it could have been imagined. The kitchen light hummed. Rain started tapping the window. She didn't move away. "Does she know?" she asked suddenly. "What?" Her eyes flicked up. "That you notice things you shouldn't?" The words landed somewhere between a warning and a confession. "She doesn't," I said quietly. Lena's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Good." Then softer, "Neither do I." She turned back to the counter, pretending to focus on cutting limes. The knife hit the board unevenly, her rhythm off. "Are you nervous?" I asked. "About what?" I didn't answer. The silence said enough. A buzz broke through, my phone lighting up on the table. My girlfriend's voice from the other room. "Babe, can you grab that?" Lena froze. I glanced at the screen, a message from her. "I'll be ready to go soon. Don't be too quiet without me, winky face." Lena saw it. I saw her see it. Neither of us spoke. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for the glass. "You should answer her." I didn't. Instead, I said, "Why do you always do that?" She looked up. "Do what?" "Pull away the second something feels real." Her lips parted, but no sound came. The air between us tightened, heartbeat distance. She took a small step forward. I could feel the heat off her skin, the faint scent of rain and citrus again. "Because," she whispered, "if I don't, I'll forget where the line is." Footsteps approached, my girlfriend's. Lena turned away fast, pretending to wash her hands. I picked up the phone, trying to breathe normally. "Everything okay?" my girlfriend asked from the doorway. Lena nodded without looking. "All good. Just making tea." But when my girlfriend left again, Lena stayed still, her back to me. The water kept running long after her hands were clean. Then she said quietly, "You should go before I stop pretending." I didn't move. She turned her head slightly, eyes catching mine in the reflection of the window. Rain streaking down the glass like it couldn't hold itself together either. For a second, neither of us breathed. Her hand, still wet, reached out, not all the way, just enough for me to know she wanted to. And then she stopped. That was the moment I knew. The line wasn't between us anymore. It was around us, closing in. It happened on a Thursday, the kind of day that starts ordinary and ends with everything tilted. My girlfriend had gone out of town for a family errand. Lena texted me about returning a book I'd left behind. That was the excuse. The truth, neither of us needed one anymore. When I got to her apartment, she didn't bother with small talk. Just opened the door and stepped aside. Her hair was down. No makeup. A loose sweater slipping off one shoulder. The kind of undone beauty that makes you forget how to speak. "You came," she said. "You asked." Did I? The corner of her mouth curved, but there was something brittle behind it. We sat on the couch. The book was on the table, but neither of us reached for it. I shouldn't have texted you, she said finally. I know. I shouldn't have answered, I replied. That made her laugh, quiet, tired. So we're both bad at pretending. The rain had started again, same as last time. The sound filled the room, soft, relentless. She leaned back, watching it. I used to love storms, she said. Now they just make me feel exposed. She didn't explain. She didn't have to. Without thinking, I brushed a strand of hair from her face. My hand stayed near her cheek, suspended in the space between impulse and restraint. She didn't move. Her eyes followed mine, searching. Don't, she whispered. But her voice wasn't steady. I can't stop thinking about that night, I said. About what you said. Her breath hitched. You weren't supposed to. I tried not to. She turned her head slightly, our faces now inches apart. You think this is about you? What do you mean? She exhaled, her hand finding the edge of the couch, gripping it like it could anchor her. You remind me of something I lost. The version of me that wasn't scared to want things. Her words landed heavy, intimate. I could feel the heat of her body through the space between us. Then stop being scared, I said quietly. Her laugh was half a breath, half a plea. You make it sound easy. It's not. The silence stretched again, heartbeat, inhale, pause. Then she reached out, fingers grazing my jaw, tentative at first. Her thumb brushed just beneath my lip, a touch too familiar, too deliberate to be casual. Her voice was barely audible. This is the part where we ruin everything. Maybe, I said, or maybe it's the part where we stop lying. Her eyes flicked to my mouth. 1 breath apart, 1 second away. And then the knock. 3 sharp knocks on the door. She froze. Neither of us moved. The sound came again. Her sister's voice this time, muffled but unmistakable. Lena? You home? Her hand dropped instantly. The air cracked open. Everything we hadn't done echoing in what we couldn't. She swallowed hard. Don't say anything, she whispered. I nodded, my heart still hammering. Through the door, her sister called again, lighter this time. Thought I saw your light on. Lena stood slowly, straightened her sweater, and looked at me, eyes wide, alive, terrified. This never happened, she said. But it already had. In every breath we hadn't taken, every inch we hadn't crossed. The next morning felt like someone had tilted the world a few degrees off balance. I didn't hear from her. No message, no call. Just silence. The kind that hums in your chest when you know something's coming. By evening, my phone buzzed. 1 line. Can you stop by? Just you. I went. I didn't even think about saying no. When she opened the door, she looked different. Not softer, colder, like she'd spent the day holding herself together. Her eyes met mine for half a second, then dropped. We need to talk. That phrase, it never leads anywhere good. I stepped inside. The air smelled faintly of smoke and rain. The same storm had circled back. She stood near the counter, arms crossed, nails digging lightly into her sleeves. She knows, she said finally. My stomach tightened. What? My sister. She knows something's off. She asked me this morning why you seemed nervous last night. I couldn't breathe for a second. What did you say? That you're just young. Shy. She said it like it hurt to use those words. I moved closer, voice low. Does she really believe that? I don't know. Her hand went to her throat, fingers tracing the chain there. But I believed it for a while. That this was just curiosity. Something harmless. She looked up then, and whatever mask she'd tried to wear cracked. I lied, she said quietly. To her. To myself. She took a step toward me. It stopped being harmless the moment you touched me. The air between us thickened. I could see her pulse at the base of her throat. Then why did you call me? I asked. Her laugh was small, bitter. Because not calling you felt worse. I reached for her hand, hesitated midair. She noticed, always noticed, and took that half step closer until we were standing so close I could feel the heat of her breath against my jaw. She didn't look up at me. She looked past me, like she was fighting herself. I can't want this, she whispered. But you do. Her breath trembled. Don't say that. Why not? Because when you say it, I believe you. The distance between us collapsed. My hand found the small of her back, instinct, not thought. Her body leaned in, just barely, the contact electric. Then her phone buzzed on the counter. We both froze. The screen lit up with a name. Her sister. She stepped back like she'd been burned, one hand pressed to her mouth. I can't do this, she said, voice breaking. I thought I could control it, but… She didn't finish. Couldn't. Her eyes lifted to mine, regret, hunger, panic, all tangled. Finally, she whispered, "If you stay, something will happen I can't take back." I didn't move. Neither did she. Only the rain did, running down the glass, tracing the lines we kept crossing in silence. The next time I saw her, she didn't open the door right away. I could hear footsteps on the other side, the faint rustle of movement, hesitation made audible. Then the click of the lock. She looked tired, softer around the edges, as if the last few nights had worn something down inside her. "I shouldn't have asked you to come," she said. "But you did." Her eyes flicked up, holding mine. "Yeah," she said, almost smiling. "I did." She stepped back. I followed her inside. The apartment was dim, curtains half drawn, the gray light of late afternoon slipping through. There was a cup of tea cooling on the table, untouched. The same quiet hum of the refrigerator, the same clock ticking too loudly. "I didn't answer her," she said. "Your sister?" She nodded. "She wanted to know if you'd been here again." I said no. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't. The truth hung between us, uninvited but unignored. She walked past me, brushing my arm. So slight, it could have been an accident. It wasn't. "I don't want to lie," she said finally, standing by the window. Not to her, not to myself. "Then don't." She turned, voice quieter now. "And what would I tell her? That I want someone I'm not supposed to? That I keep thinking about a man half my age because he looks at me like I'm not invisible?" The words hit harder than she meant them to. I took a step forward. "You're not invisible." Her eyes softened. "You make it sound easy again." "It's not," I said. "But it's real." She didn't move when I reached her. The space between us vanished until I could feel the warmth of her breath on my neck, the faint tremor in her hands where they hovered, uncertain. "Say something," I whispered. She looked up, her face inches from mine. "If I say it, I'll mean it." "Then mean it." Her hand found my chest, open palm, light pressure, and stayed there. My heartbeat felt too loud, too human. Her voice came out barely above a breath. "You make me forget how lonely I was." The room went still. Then her forehead rested against mine. Not a kiss. Not yet, just contact, fragile and trembling. "Tell me to stop," she whispered. I didn't. And for a second, neither of us existed outside that closeness. Not in years, not in names, not in what we were supposed to be. Just two people caught between guilt and gravity. When she finally pulled back, her eyes glistened, steady. "We can't undo this," she said. "I don't want to." She smiled, small, real, tired. "Then whatever happens next, happens because we both chose it." The words weren't a promise. They were the truth. And as she stood there, her hand still on my chest, both of us breathing the same uneven rhythm, I knew, for the first time, she wasn't running anymore. Morning crept through her curtains in thin gold lines, painting soft stripes across the floor. The storm had finally passed, outside and between us. Lena stood by the window, coffee mug in hand, hair pulled back loosely, watching the sky clear like she'd been waiting for it. I sat on the couch, still half in that quiet space where words don't work yet. Neither of us had said much since last night. We didn't need to. When she turned, her smile was small but sure. "You didn't leave." "I wasn't going to." She nodded, as if she'd known that already. The air between us felt lighter now, not empty, just unburdened. She crossed the room and sat beside me, close enough that our knees touched. The simple, quiet kind of closeness that says more than anything else could. "I kept thinking this would feel wrong," she said. "It doesn't. Not the way I expected." I reached for her hand. She didn't pull away this time. Her fingers fit between mine naturally, like we'd done this 100 times before. Just never let ourselves notice. "You were afraid," I said. She tilted her head. "Still am. Just not enough to keep pretending." Her thumb brushed the back of my hand. Slow, absent, tender. "You know, I used to think getting older meant wanting less. Turns out it just means being quieter about it." I smiled. "I like quiet." That earned a small laugh, the kind that catches in the chest. "You really are too young for me." "Maybe," I said. "But I see you." Her eyes softened. That same look from the first night we met, but this time without the distance, without the guilt. Just understanding. For a long moment, we just sat there. Her head found my shoulder, and I rested my cheek against her hair. The world outside went on. Traffic, birds, a door slamming somewhere down the hall. But in that small apartment, everything slowed down to the rhythm of breathing. I didn't know what came next. Maybe that was okay. She spoke again, voice low. You're not a mistake, you know. And you're not too late, I said. Her hand tightened around mine. Then maybe we start there. We stayed like that, not rushing, not explaining, just being. And when she finally looked up, I leaned in and kissed her forehead. Nothing more. Just that, a quiet, certain kind of promise. Later, as I stood to leave, she followed me to the door. You'll come back? She asked. I already did. Her laugh was soft, real. She leaned in, resting her hand lightly on my chest again. The same place it had been when everything almost broke. Only this time, nothing did. Did you enjoy the story? What kind of stories would you like to hear next?